Failure to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement means irreparable catastrophe for people, communities, economies, and nations.
Information on the sustainability of financial products, when available, is at best inconsistent, largely incomparable, and at times unreliable.
The UK government has endorsed proposals from the IFRS Foundation to develop global sustainability standards, helping to achieve consistency across the world.
While the global pandemic has created a massive economic challenge, it has also created an unprecedented opportunity to spur green growth and to spread the benefits across all communities.
Those who take these steps now will not only help the world avoid a climate disaster, they'll position themselves for success in this new world.
The issue of people's financial footprint is going to be a huge part of the new ethical consumer revolution. The power to change the world lies in where they invest their money.
To seize this chance for the sake of our children and grandchildren, we must act now.
Financial markets have the power to put us on track for Paris and prosperity. And all of you have the power to make it happen.
Dad, will animals alive today end up like the dinosaurs?
Well, I hope not, but scientists say that in my lifetime, 1 million species will become extinct.
How can we stop it?
Well, it's complicated. There's now 8 billion people on the planet. That's 3 times more than when your nana was born. So we're all heating up the planet, we're all using up resources.
Scientists estimate that there have been 5 mass extinctions over history. Human activity, including through land and sea use change, and the direct exploitation of species is now driving the 6th mass extinction, with rates over 100 times the average over the past several million years.
So does everything we use harm the planet in some way?
Some things do more than others. We know the price of a product, but sometimes we don't know the true environmental and social impact of making it.
But why don't we know?
At the moment, companies selling the products would have to do lots of work to investigate the real impact of what they do. So if they do the work and report it, they actually risk looking worse than the companies that don't bother.
So why aren't there rules that punish companies that aren't honest about their real impact?
Well, there are rules that punish individual companies, but to really understand the impact, you need to understand the impact of each part of the product, wherever it comes from. So if you look at the whale, for example, if you think of it as a plane, and it's got you could get the nose from one company, the tail from another company, body from somewhere else. In fact, actually every bone within the body could come from a different company, and that's known as the supply chain.
So you just need to add all the different bones' impact together?
Yeah, precisely. If you added those all together, then you'd know the impact of the product, and you could give it some sort of rating.
So it's a bit like a star rating on Amazon?
Yeah.
So then people would know if it's bad to buy from, and then they wouldn't?
Exactly.
Businesses need the consent of society, a social license, to be allowed to operate, to innovate, and to grow. When environmental, social, or governance, or ESG factors are mismanaged, that social license can be withdrawn, sometimes suddenly, damaging relationships with communities, customers, employees, and suppliers, destroying reputations and financial value.
If investors, so people that make money out of investing in companies, stop investing in companies with a bad rating, then and we as consumers stop buying things from those companies, what that means is that the share value and the value of those companies drops like a stone.
And so the companies that are doing the right thing get more money?
Yeah, more and more money will flow towards sustainable businesses. The problem is that when it comes to environmental and social impact, there's no common language to share the information with investors and consumers. So Ruby, meet the father of taxonomy, Carl Linnaeus. He solved a similar problem 300 years ago. There was no consistency in the way that animals were named or plants. And so he created a global standard that covered all living creatures everywhere. And we need something of similar scale and ambition to help us save the planet. As more investors only give their money to companies that protect the environment, we need a better quality of data to ensure that their wishes are being followed all the way through a company's supply chain.
Shifts in stakeholder expectations and regulation and changing investor preferences and consumer preferences all mean that over time, more and more sustainability concerns are becoming relevant for enterprise value.
So can't you just get someone to do Carl's job, to bring all the different standards together so everyone knows what they mean?
Yeah, and positive things are happening. Like the people that look after the financial reporting standards, they've set up something called the Sustainability Standards Board, and they're working to bring all of the different versions and people measuring things together into one, global standard for the first time.
And this momentum is further reinforced by the Impact Management Project, which is convening a number of other sustainability reporting initiatives to agree a consolidated global reporting architecture.
Up until now, the tech houses, asset managers, banks, corporates and accountants have been spending millions on their own solutions. Nobody can solve this problem on their own.
We need to work together like we've done during the pandemic.
Absolutely. We need to collect all the impact information for all companies across the market, and we need to do that in parallel with those setting the standards, rather than wait for them to be set.
One of the main objectives for the Glasgow COP is to put in place the foundation so that every financial decision takes climate change into account.
What do you reckon Charles Darwin would make of it?
I think he'd want us to do whatever it takes to slow down global warming, to divert all the money towards building a global data platform where verified impact data for the whole supply chain could be shared with consumers and investors.
Sounds like you've got a plan. They should give that whale a name.
They did. They called it Hope.